Hi everyone, thanks for joining me back here at Learning Curve Acres. I'm Marcy. We're back in the kitchen, which is where I have most of my seeds and do most of my potting. But today's video, I just thought I'd talk a little bit about organizing seeds, because I realized I have tons of little jars with seeds. These ones are pink columbine. I have little baggies everywhere with seeds, little baggies, big baggies, everything in between. And then I have boxes of seeds. But it's all over the place. Nothing's in one central location. Nothing's neat and organized. When you look in here, there's no organization as to flowers, herbs, flowering herbs, vegetables, and even according to what type of vegetable. So I thought today we'd just talk quickly about some little tricks to getting organized. So I have these little Ziploc baggies. They are 3 by 5 inches, and it's a 6 mil poly baggie. These are industrial, a little overkill, but you can get similar sizes at the dollar store. And then I also have tiny little wee baggies that are great for storing just a small number of seeds. So I grabbed myself a few of my fine-tipped Sharpies. I have a binder so that I can write down what I have and roughly how old it is, so I know for next year when I'm ordering seeds whether or not I should order new seeds of that variety, because their chances of germination are pretty low. And also this way I'll know roughly how many packets, or if I have like just a little bit of seed left and I need more, or if I've got lots of seeds still. So we'll start with one of my favorites. These are my Morning Glories. Now these actually, they've had kind of a funny story with our family. My mom at her house back 15 years ago, 16 years ago, discovered she had a Morning Glory growing in her garden and she had never planted it. So we just called it a gift from the birds. Well, that fall I harvested probably about 3 little seed pods worth. And I've grown them wherever I've been ever since. Well, at one point I actually had a mason jar this size full of seeds. So I started vigorously planting where I used to live, but then I was also giving lots of the seeds away. This spring, I think most of these are going to get planted out. I have some shrubs down in the gully that they do get full sun just where they are, but the shrub itself, they're a type of cedar, like the low growing cedars. So I'm going to actually be, because the shrubs are dead, I'm going to be planting a bunch of these around it so that they can grow up onto those branches and therefore make something that's kind of unsightly right now, and I just don't have the time or the ambition right now to remove them. I'm going to plant them and make them pretty. So now that I've got them into a baggie, I'm going to use my Sharpie to write down that these are Heritage Morning Glories. There we go. Now what I'm going to do is start putting all of these into the tangerine crate and just try and get some organization. What I'll probably also end up doing is using some cardboard is to make divisions between flowers, herbs, and my vegetables. So I'm going to get at that, and then we'll take a quick look at how some of the other seeds that I've already started are growing. Now, I've realized I have a problem. I will collect seeds from squash and from peppers and tomatoes, and well, these ones I actually remember to write down what it was, and these ones I know are from my yellow paste tomatoes. I don't know what radishes these are from. I really don't. They could be a mix of two different types of radishes. And it looks like there's another form of seed pod in here as well. And I don't know what that was. Oh, actually, I think I do know what this is from. This looks like it's from my hibiscus. Oops. Okay, so the fuzzy seeds that are in there, I don't know if you can see that or not, if it'll focus, but the little fuzzy seeds that are in here somewhere happen to be from hibiscus. So that'll be fun to try and see if I can grow another hibiscus plant from that. So I'll set that to the side. And there's quite a few of those fuzzy ones. But then in here, I have what looks like a very tiny, let's see if that'll focus, I'm not sure. I apologize for the lighting, I forgot to turn the big lights back on. But looks like a small sunflower seed. Looks like I might have another one. But then there's some pepper seeds and some beans of some sort. And apple seeds maybe? I don't know. For some of these, your guess is as good as mine. So I obviously have to work very hard at making sure that I not only label all my seeds as I'm harvesting them, but then getting them into baggies, appropriate baggies. So these are all yellow pear tomatoes. I also happen to know that this little package is full of yellow pear tomatoes. It's a good thing it's one of our favorites. I'll probably be sending these, maybe I'll do a care package to a friend and send them some yellow pear tomatoes and a few other things just to help share some of these seeds. But this is taking a lot longer than I thought because, well, I think I stopped counting at 130 packets of seeds. So as I said, I think I have a problem. So I just wanted to show you something with the datura. You have to be very careful when collecting datura seeds. Now, some books call this Jamestown weed or local weed, and there is an old story about some of the English officers in Jamestown, therefore the name, who were actually convinced by some of the local indigenous people to drink a tea made from this. And it caused them to go into a hallucinogenic state. They were found 3 days later, naked, running through the wilderness. So, be very careful. Do not ingest any part of this because it's also highly toxic. It can also kill you. Do not plant this near your pets. But, as you can see, it also, let's see if it'll focus here. it's very thorny. So when harvesting the seeds, you really have to be careful. This one has gotten in between the thorns, but you really want to be careful that you're not getting these stuck into your skin, because it will hurt, and it could cause, there's always that risk of an infection when you have a plant puncture your skin like this, just like when you get a thorn from a rose bush and you could get blood poisoning from it very easily, just because, you know, these aren't the cleanest of things. They end up with bug poop and everything else on them, and they are, because they are mildly toxic, we don't know how much of that could get into your skin and cause an infection at the same time. So I wanted to point that out to you. Now this one still has some, looks almost like it's got a bit of mold on it, or part of the husk. I'm not sure, but I'm not going to take a chance. I'm just going to toss that in with the other to go in the garbage. And the Jamestown Weed, or the Datura, I'm not going to be putting the husks from this in with my compost, just because my chickens go through the compost. I really would rather them not eat this. These are actually going to be planted out into a flower box down at the end of the driveway, where usually my chickens don't venture quite so far. But I just wanted to show you that so that you knew. The seed pods for these actually look like a very thorny apple. They can get to be about this size, plus spikes. So it's something you really want to be careful with harvesting. I always recommend wearing gloves for harvesting these. Something else I wanted to show you. With the columbine, I had two different colors. I had pink and I had a double blue. So what I did was I put the seeds into the small baggies, and then put both small baggies into one large baggie labeled columbine. Each smaller baggie has the color written on the baggie though. Okay, so 4 hours, lots of empty bottles and packets and everything later. I finally have everything nice and neat in one box. I have my vegetables, my herbs, and my flowers all written out. Everything's marked. I know what it is now. So that should make things a lot easier. Now, one thing, I have this. I've seen this in a certain someone else's video, Mr. Trollforge. This is from one of my favorite trees. I think they're the most beautiful things when they bloom. It's a type of locust, but we used to always call it not a locust tree. It's a locust tree, but we used to call it the orchid tree because the flowers almost look like orchids. They're so beautiful. But I've never been able to successfully grow one from seed. I have tried putting it in wet soil. I have tried putting it on in a baggie on a piece of paper towel. I've even tried putting some into damp soil in a baggie and putting them in the fridge, just like I got my my nectarine plant to go to grow, and I've had no luck. So if anybody knows how to grow these, I'd love to hear from you. I do have those discovered hibiscus seeds. I've got 9 of them, so if anybody knows how to get these started, I would love to hear from you. Because I would absolutely love to be able to get some hibiscus going from seed, and I'd like to get a few of these trees. They get absolutely massive, give the most beautiful shade, and again, the flowers are just gorgeous. Well, Now let's go take a look at what's already started sprouting. Alright, so over here you can see that I've got the spinach, the kale, and I've moved some of the jalapenos over here just because I wanted them to, well, they were getting a little too hot inside the mini greenhouse I had, and they were going really wilty. And as you can see, there's still one or two that are looking a little sad. They've just been watered, so hopefully they will perk up a bit. Over here, the leeks are starting to look really good. I'm going to have to start putting them into something that I can that I can put more soil in so that they can start having more support. And then I also have, this is what's left of that little bit of oregano that I had. I don't know what got at it or what attacked it. Some sort of fungus or root rot or damp or whatever. But it went from being tons of it there to just these few little plants left. So I'm really hoping that they will grow up at least to be a nice plant, because we really love our oregano. And I have gotten a 5K LED bulb to put above these just to help a bit. Now, over here, so there's, sorry, just trying to get down here. So we have the rest of my jalapenos as well as my habaneros that are going to need to be planted out soon. We have our mystery sweet pepper. I put some, I forget what kind of seeds I put in there. I think I tried to put in more Rosa rugosas in there. But then on Monday, with Monday's video, we put in the cabbages, and we have both the Copenhagen and the early Jersey Wakefields that are starting to pop up. I'm not seeing anything yet, really, with the Mammoth Rock, but, oops, as I catch, we've got a little bit happening there with the Swiss chard, and a little bit coming up with our thyme, which is good. The lavender probably will take 2 to 3 weeks before it starts showing up. And then down here, I have a few tomatoes that look like they're going to need a lot more dirt in those little cups. Possibly even to start going into something larger, which I will just put the entire cup into. But that's a video for next week. And here we have growth in every single one of these pots. These are my barberries that I got, and they are doing so amazingly well. I'm really looking forward to watching these grow this year. I've got 35 of them so far, and they are going to be put to very good use. Well, thank you so much for joining us today here at Learning Curve Acres. We will finish by just taking a peek out the window, see what's going on with the chickens. And that structure there is actually a portion of what will be the new coop. So the chickens are moving on up. Well, thank you very much for joining me. As I said, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the videos. Take care and have a great day.